Today, we take a closer look at this pivotal moment for Lebanon. Caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati convened an extraordinary cabinet session in Tyre, reaffirming the nation's commitment to Resolution 1701 and its unwavering support for the Lebanese army and UNIFIL. Amid ongoing tensions and Israeli artillery strikes targeting southern Lebanon, Mikati's message of unity and resilience echoes across the region. Stay tuned for more updates in our special coverage today. Lebanese National News Agency has reported that the UN Security Council is focused on implementing the ceasefire and Resolution 1701 following U.S.-French mediation between Lebanon and Israel. The goal is the full withdrawal of Israeli forces and the establishment of weapons-free zone with only the Lebanese army and UNIFIL present along the blue line. U.S. and French officials are committed to preventing further violence, working closely with Lebanon and Israel to ensure the ceasefire terms are upheld and promoting long-term regional stability. Lebanese Prime Minister Mikati reaffirmed his government's commitment to Resolution 1701, emphasizing the importance of security in southern Lebanon and the need for international support to halt Israeli violations. Providing more analysis about the recent updates in Lebanon, joining us from Beirut, Mr. Marcel Baloukchi, a strategic expert. Mr. Marcel, thank you so much for joining us on Qnews. So, first off, with the recent Israeli strike on the Arida crossing, how does Lebanon plan to strengthen its military presence along the border with Syria in light of the recent tensions?
Good evening to you and to the dear viewers. The situation in Lebanon is still not settled. The mechanism for the ceasefire has not been very strong. There has been more readiness by Israel from one side. There is still more of an equation of occupation. So 3 kilometers occupation occupied by Israel, and there has been continued assaults by Israel and more violations from the air by Israel. And Hezbollah and the resistance is not yet abandoning its places, and the Lebanese army is still in certain centers without actually taking over certain places. There is no action plan for the implementation of the ceasefire, and there is no implementation of the spread of the Lebanese army and the UNIFIL. The mechanism is not there yet, and there is still more stall by US and the committee that is supposed to be observing. Is it bound to the regional war in Syria, and is the ceasefire made in Syria in order to allow escalation in Syria? Till now, this is not clear. There is no tangible mechanism in Lebanon to regulate this truce.
Sir, sorry for interrupting you, but speaking of the action plan, the UN Security Council is now insisting on implementing the 1701 resolution. However, given the Israeli artillery strikes in southern Lebanon, how can the resolution 1701 ensure effective ceasefire monitoring?
There is contradiction. There is real contradiction about the objectives between the ceasefire and the actual real thing on the ground. The mechanism of the ceasefire and implementing 1701 for Hezbollah sometimes would say, I am implementing what is beyond the litany, but I'm not giving up weapons. The articles of 1701 has not been very well specified and detailed. So maybe we are waiting for next week to see a mechanism for implementation and to see whether the situation in Syria will allow implementing 1701 or not with the developments in Syria when things become more realistic in Syria. So next week has got a lot of surprises to come regarding the 1701 implementation in Lebanon.
Now, delving into Lebanon internal matters and speaking of the 19th January session, where Lebanon will select a new president, what role do Arab states play in the reconstruction efforts?
We are having a constitutional mechanism about how to run the Lebanese state. But till now, there is no head in Lebanon. So Lebanon really needs to elect a president on the 9th of January. But till now, the concerned parties regarding elections and regarding all of this did not develop certain ways to get to a common denominator to elect a constitutional president for Lebanon. I doubt that the 9th of January will bring a president in Lebanon. The Lebanese, the American position was expressed by Mossad Boulos, the assistant to Trump, saying maybe 2 or month more is better. So we do not expect the election of a president on the 9th of January as scheduled.
Now, regarding Lebanon retaining its security, how does Lebanon's closure of most border crossings with Syria reflect its current security strategy?
In particular, the impact of the Syrian position on Lebanon is very dangerous because there could be 2 fronts open. Because of Syria, the Luqsaim front, Hezbollah with the Lebanese opposition, which is now controlling Homs. This can affect the north of Lebanon, the Beqa from and also the missiles of Hezbollah in Hermel and Baalbek. This can be also opened to fight in Syria. And there is another fight that might happen because maybe Israel will go more into Lebanon to safeguard its positions when Syria is fluctuating. So Hezbollah might be forced to break the truce and break the ceasefire and attack Israel. And there will be more revenge issues and internal problems inside Lebanon because of the extremists inside Lebanon who are against Hezbollah. If the regime falls in Syria, these people will go up against the Hezbollah people. And also the Syrian refugees who are against Bashar al-Assad, they are some 700,000 people. They might get some revenge against Hezbollah or against Syria, Lebanese people who are against them. All this will disturb the Lebanese security internally because of the situation in Syria, in addition to some migration of Alawites from the coast of Syria to Lebanon in case the situation disturbs in Syria. There will be more Alawite migration into Lebanon, and there will be Sunnis in Lebanon fighting against Hezbollah and the Shiites, and there could be more of a conflict after the fall of Homs, Aleppo, and there will be more cut of the borders and separation of the tracks between Syria and Lebanon, and it's important to implement 1701. The Lebanese army will have to go up and down, north and south, to secure the situation.
Now, regarding Mikati's leadership, in what ways does Mikati's leadership shape the implementation of Resolution 1701, particularly in the south?
The mechanism of 1701 is not clear, and it will not be implemented within the 60 days put in place. Till now, 10 days passed and nothing has been implemented regarding 1701. The different parties are still ready to fight in their own positions. There is nothing progressing practically regarding the priorities of implementing 1701. Therefore, there is still a need for this committee headed by the US to put a roadmap, a strict roadmap and a detailed one to be implemented by UNIFIL and Lebanese army, and with strict directives to be implemented. Till now, Hezbollah is still ready to fight and is still on an alert to fight, and Israel is still making violations and incursions on the Lebanese territories, and there is nothing practical happening from UNIFIL and the Lebanese army to implement 1701 to return Hezbollah beyond Litani. The mechanism needs to be detailed and there should be strict restrictions and a roadmap to implement. Till now, things are still on a very fragile truce, but nothing implemented so far.
Now, sir, integrating the Lebanese army's preparedness, how significant is the Lebanese army's role in maintaining stability amid the ongoing Israeli violations of the ceasefire?
The Lebanese army has got a lot of qualifications. It has a lot of materials and it does not need more equipment to be implementing the international resolutions. All what is needed is to allow the Lebanese army to spread in the due places. It's fully qualified to do it. But the political situation in Lebanon is still resonating the past, and it is not allowing the army to go to the south and implement the 1701. There should be a real mandate to the armed forces of Lebanon, and there should be time allowed for implementing the relevant resolutions to put 1701 into implementation. Till now, the political roadmap is not working in Lebanon, and some parties are influencing it, but not the Egyptian state, not the Lebanese state, not the Lebanese interests. This old-fashioned structure of politics in Lebanon should be changed. It has been harming to 1701 and continuing the war, and this political system in Lebanon is still not implementing the resolutions and not taking things forward to secure the Lebanese interests. I don't know why things are like this till now. The track till now, since July, is still waiting for the French-American committee. We wish that the committee would be more precise and implement things regardless of the troubles inside Lebanon and the vacuum in the political decision-making in Lebanon. The Lebanese army should be freed of the political tensions inside Lebanon to be implementing its own mandate regarding the security in Lebanon.
Speaking of the ceasefire agreement, Mekari has reported that there has been more than 60 violations by Israel regarding the ceasefire. How do you interpret these violations? Are they indicating that Israel is entering a new phase of the war?
Dear sirs, let's see it this way. There were certain objectives for the ceasefire to protect the north of Israel. North of Israel was not defended against the missiles of Hezbollah, and to put Hezbollah beyond the Litani River, this hasn't happened. So nothing has been in the interest of Israel so far. Israel was forced to a ceasefire in Lebanon, but till now Israel is aggressive against Lebanon, attacking Lebanon, and still Israel sees the infrastructure of Hezbollah intact. So Hezbollah is still a threat to Israel, and Israel is still threatening Lebanon and creating some sort of a buffer zone. But both Hezbollah and Israel did not succeed in meeting their objectives. They were forced to a ceasefire because of the pressure of the US. Because the US has been taking opportunity of the escalation in Syria and trying to rechange the priorities of the Middle East. So the Americans benefited from the ceasefire, but the Israeli side did not meet its objectives in the Lebanese territory, and Hezbollah itself till now wants to hold the situation as is without implementation of 1701, maneuvering with 1701. And they don't want that to happen because the ideology of Hezbollah is to dominate the south. And Hezbollah rejects any de-weaponization of Hezbollah. So till now, the Israeli side and the Lebanese side is not ready for a ceasefire. We are waiting for some regional settlement, maybe involving the Iranian nuclear reactors, maybe regarding Syria and the situation in Syria. But on the local Lebanese situation, both sides, Hezbollah and Israel, are ready for war at any point, be it Hezbollah and its resistance willing to protect its own structure and infrastructure, to defy dismantling Hezbollah, and the Israelis want still to go to war and to eliminate Hezbollah. Both are still ready for fights, and there is no real mechanism out of the supervisory or regulatory committee. They did not have any new thinking about implementation. So we are waiting for what's happening. And till now, we are subjected to the Israeli violations, and Hezbollah is still not calculating fully the urge to finish it by the whole enemies it has. So Hezbollah is responding with very calculated equations, like in Shib'a Farm and so, but they don't want, Hezbollah does not want to give a pretext to Israel to fully attack Hezbollah more and more. And Israel wants to improve its internal situation by more aggression against Lebanon, because
Now,
there is some
sir,
deterrence.
sorry for interrupting you, but now I would like to shed light on UNIFIL. What steps are being taken by UNIFIL to prevent the militarization of the area between the Litani River and the Blue Line?
The
UNIFIL cannot do anything. The UNIFIL is just cornered in their positions, cornered by Israel and by the Lebanese resistance. The UNIFIL cannot do anything unless the mechanism for its action is changed. So under chapter 3, it should be under chapter 7, because it's so far it's not able to do anything, and there are blowing of homes in Yaron and else and other places. 110 kilometers inside Lebanon, Israel is hitting homes and demolishing places, and but UNIFIL could not do anything against that. It is just entrenched in its own safe places, and it could not do any response. And it cannot do any response. UNIFIL should have a new mandate and a different mandate in Lebanon, or else it will fail like it failed before.
Thank you so much, sir. Sorry for
now.
interrupting you due to the shortage of time. That was Mr. Marcel Balougji, a strategic expert from Beirut. Thank you so much for your insights. Lebanon's caretaker information minister Ziad Makari has announced that Lebanon's cabinet approved a damage assessment plan, debris removal, and advance of 4,000 billion Lebanese lira. Makari urged residents to follow the army's instructions for a safe return and confirmed that military aid will arrive next week. The Ceasefire Monitoring Committee is expected to meet on Monday to activate the deployment plan. Makari also emphasized the Army's presence on the northern and eastern borders. Egypt Today has reported that Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has met with Lebanese Deputy Prime Minister El Shami in Cairo to discuss Egypt's support for Lebanon's post-war reconstruction. El Shami highlighted the significant costs of the recent Israeli conflict and emphasized the need for international assistance. El Shami also expressed interest in learning from Egypt's successful implementation of e-invoicing, aiming to boost Lebanon's tax revenues and improve financial management. Minister of Finance Ahmed Kozuk confirmed Egypt's readiness to provide technical expertise in this area. Madbouli reassured Lebanon of Egypt's ongoing support, emphasizing the importance of upholding the ceasefire and fully implementing UN Resolution 1701 to ensure Lebanese stability. Providing more details about the latest developments in Lebanon, we are joined by our guest from Lebanon. Hello and welcome to Qnews. First off, how does Lebanon plan to enforce the ceasefire despite ongoing Israeli violations? Ms. Mirna Radwan, we're glad to have you with us.
Yes, good evening. The Lebanese Foreign Minister stated Lebanon's strong commitment to the Lebanese armed forces and the United Nations. He called on all relevant parties to accelerate the implementation of the ceasefire agreement. and stating that the government presence in the entire and south serves as a clear statement of unwavering support for both the Lebanese forces and the UNIFIL. So our Prime Minister's Mikati is the importance of holding all parties accountable to the ceasefire terms, underscoring that the enforcement of this agreement is essential for maintaining stability in the region. But the Lebanese are really tired of being under the power of weapons from Hezbollah or from Israel. So we have to be careful not to let our this agreement down. We want to live in peace as Lebanese equal before these under the law, without dominance, no excesses of power or weapons. So this is what we have to make sure. First, we have to make sure that we are our Prime Minister. I want to say that our Prime Minister, the agreement that our government agreed to is clear, and there is no reasoning about it. So.
Now, Ms. Myrna, I would like to ask you about the Lebanese army. What measures are being taken to strengthen the Lebanese army's position along the Syria border?
Yes. The Lebanese army established the checkpoints and conducted patrols as part of strict security measures, with significant development along border areas in Akkar, North Lebanon, and across various villages and towns that near Syria. The state-run national this includes sending reinforcements to the northern and the eastern borders together. So what we want to say that the Lebanese force now needs support, since they are working on at the same time on different locations or different two missions. And south, already there is Israel, and there is a time for the agreement to be done for the and in north the events or what happens in Syria, what is happening in Syria now. So the Lebanese army force, we can say this is an exceptional period, as a time that requires all parties to cooperate for the sake of the national.
Thank you so much, Ms. Myrna. Sorry for interrupting you due to shortage of time. That was Myrna Radwan, a writer and political researcher from Beirut. Thank you so much for your insights. That brings us to the end of our special coverage for today. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates on Q News.